You've probably seen this before. Or this. Or have been hit by a wake-up critical art. I'd like to show you how you can avoid these situations and punish your opponent for using such risky reversals. To do that, let's look back at those previous examples. Did you notice that none of those hits were counter hits? Let's look at the moves to see why. Urian's EX Dangerous Headbutt has 12 frames of Invincible Startup. Rashid's EX Spinning Mixer has 8 frames of Invincible Startup. And Nash's Critical Art has 10 frames of Invincible Startup. They all have long Invincible Startups. The attackers weren't being hit during their startup, but during their recovery frames. Since these moves are so long, we can use this information to form a counter strategy. Let's look at an example and figure out how we can form a counter to these moves. In this example, after dashing up, Karin is +3 and will use Medium Punch. Let's calculate how long into Ed's recovery her Medium Punch will recover. Here is the frame data for her Medium Punch. It has 5 frames of startup, 3 active frames, and 12 recovery frames. And since she is +3, she will start the move 3 frames sooner than Ed's recovery. This means that the move will complete 17 frames after Ed has recovered. If Ed was blocking or gets counter hit, this wouldn't matter. But since Ed's EX Psycho Upper has 16 frames of Invincible Startup, it is faster than Karin can recover. She gets hit. But what if instead of Medium Punch, she used a faster move, like Light Punch, which is much quicker? Again, she is +3 after dashing up, but will do Light Punch instead. This time, the Light Punch will complete 10 frames into Ed's recovery, which is faster than Ed's EX Psycho Upper. And she is able to block in time. Let's see that again in full speed. This option select, or OS, is the main way to punish these types of moves. Timing fast attacks so you are either safely poking or are able to recover if they use one of those long startup invincible moves. Let's see another example. Here, Ryu is +4. He's going to use Crouching Light Punch, and since it also has a startup of 4 frames, Balrog will recover during the active frames. So if he is doing anything, he'll be counter hit. But what if Balrog woke up with his Critical Art, which has an Invincible startup? Again, Ryu is +4 and will use Crouching Light Punch. During the freeze frame, we can see Ryu has already done the startup of his Crouching Light Punch. We know that all is left of the move is the active and recovery frames. This means Ryu will be able to block in at most 8 frames time, and Balrog's Critical Art has 8 frames of startup, so Ryu will be able to block. Let's see that again at full speed. When looking to set up these situations, the most important thing is to find moves with very short recovery frames, and be in a situation where you'll hit the opponent with your active frames and recover in time. Not all characters will have moves that will be able to be used for this, but most characters have a light attack with 5 to 8 frames of recovery which can be used in most of these situations. Here are the main special moves with full invincibility and long startups. Ed's EX Psycho Upper, Falk's EX Psycho Schneider, Urian's EX Dangerous Headbutt, Rashid's EX Spinning Mixer, and Kind of Bison's V-Trigger 1 EX Head Press, and Balrog's Final Turnaround Punch. For armor reversals, you can still meaty if they don't have frame 1 armor, which is most armor moves. If they do have frame 1 armor, you will need to use other strategies like meaty throws. Some moves have hit invincibility but not throw invincibility, like Vega's Matador Flip, or Fang's EX Ninan Kyakyu. If you use this strategy to cover those moves instead of throwing, you will need to use another move after the meaty to punish them. There are also many critical arts that have longer invincible startups. Akuma, Balrog, Blanka, Dalsim, Ed, E Honda, Fang, Juri, Lucia, Nash, Poison, Rashid, and Kind of Vega have critical arts with longer startups. The fastest possible moves this strategy can be used on Wake Up reversals is actually moves with 7 frames of Invincible Startup. However, this is extremely situational to pull off. Cody, Guile, Colleen, Nikali, and Sagat's Critical Arts, Juri's EX Tensenrin, and Lucia's EX Hurricane Spinner all have 7 frames of Invincible Startup. To punish these moves, you need a move with 5 frames of recovery, which few characters have and need to be very plus on their Wake Up. Here is one example of a setup. Here, after Kage does EX Ryoseo Kyaku, he is plus 5 and does Light Punch. It has 4 frames of startup and 3 active frames, so only the last active frame will hit since you are invincible on your first frame of Wake Up. This is meaty, so it will counter hit Lucia if she does a normal move. But if she uses her EX Hurricane Spinner, Kage can block just in time. Again, very few characters can cover 7 frame startup invincible moves. This technique can be applied in other situations and not only when your opponent is recovering. In any situation where you are plus, you can use this strategy to be safe. In this example, Akuma uses Crouch Medium Punch, being plus 3, to Crouch Light Punch, and is able to recover before being hit by the reversal EX Psycho Schneider. And in the same situation when Falk has no EX meter, this turns into a frame trap. Once more at full speed. Once you have found a good setup for this, you can up your offense with buffered specials. I've set the computer Guile to perform this action on loop. Guile flash kicks in the corner and is plus 24. He whiffs a Crouching Medium Punch to be plus 4, and then does Crouching Light Punch into Medium Sonic Boom, and then immediately blocks. This is meaty, so Poison is immediately put into block stun, leaving Guile plus 2. If Poison tries to use a normal, she'll be counter hit, and Guile will be plus 7. If Poison wakes up Critical Art, Guile's Crouching Light Punch will not connect, and his Sonic Boom will not come out, letting him block in time, leaving him plus 37. This isn't checkmate though. Poison has 2 options. Poison could delay Wake Up and try and avoid the situation, but then we'll have to guess again when she does recover. Her other option is Back Rise, which will leave Guile -4 as he is recovering his Crouching Light Punch, and Poison can punish. If the opponent is not reacting to normal or back recovery, this is a good way to try and put yourself out of these situations. Here is some basic strategy. While meteing, it is important to think about what moves you are trying to cover and what else your opponent could do. If Falk has full meter and you need to cover EX Psycho Schneider, you could still get hit by her Critical Art. Remember, even if they block the meaty, they could still just use their invincible move right after if you aren't careful. This is more common at high level play. If you've punished their reversals, they may stop trying to Wake Up attack, which could let you get in free throws. Plan when to meaty and when to throw based on what options your opponent has and what they have done previously. With all this in mind, let's see what could have been done in the clips at the beginning of the video. Cammy could have used Light Kick when Urien was -2. Ryu could have meatied Crouching Light Punch to cover EX Spinning Mixer and Critical Art. And Bison could have gone for a Light Punch instead of Crouching Medium Punch to be safer. Thanks for watching, I hope you found this useful.